I am never picking the Cleveland Browns to win a football game again
Why? They just beat the Packers.
because every time I pick them to win, they lose, and I pick them to lose against the Packers and they win. So they're going 1-16 in my mind, which means hopefully they're going 16-1. Roll the music.
Your Cleveland Browns have upset the Green Bay Packers. I'm still shocked. What a great game. Well, for the most part, we'll break it down. But Noah, how are you feeling? Victory Monday.
Victory Monday, indeed. I am feeling ecstatic. And I'm feeling ecstatic because at the end of the day, a win's a win. It's the National Football League. The wins do not come easy. And even though there is plenty, and I mean plenty, that this team will need to clean up moving forward if they want to have a chance to win more football games, the Cleveland Browns won. It looks like Andre Schmidt's yips are done with. He hit a 55-yard game winner. And just want to shout him out real quick. Let me pull this tweet up. His mom had brain cancer in July, passed away, and makes the roster, is now on the team, hitting game winning field goals, hitting kicks, being perfect. What an awesome story. Am I righty?
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't ask for more. I actually didn't know that his mom had passed away until you sent me that yesterday.
Neither did I.
Um, I feel like that didn't really make the rounds when people were saying get rid of him out of Cleveland.
Right.
But just hearing the team talk about him, hearing Miles Garrett talk about him, they support this kid, and it goes to show that it was the right call to keep him and to believe in him. So Stefanski making that call, it could have been easy to just bring in another kicker, but they didn't do that, and he goes and hits a monster 55-yarder, like you said, for the win.
For the win. The celebration was awesome. The game itself was awesome. This defense, Eric, is something to write home about. I think it might be the best defense in the NFL. What do you think?
Yeah, it probably is, honestly, to be able to win a game like this where, again, the offense just looks anemic. We'll talk about that in a minute, but yeah, the defense looks absolutely incredible. I have no bad things to say about them, honestly, besides the penalties. They've got to clean that up. Miles Garrett jumping on a big play there. You're gonna have that, don't get me wrong, but we've got to clean up some of the penalties. But they looked absolutely incredible to hold this Packer team to 10 points. You talked about Jordan Love having a clunker of a game kind of thing, but I think it was all our defense here.
I do think it was all our defense. I think it's the best defense in the National Football League right now. I did say in the Muni lot that I thought Jordan Love was not going to look great, and a lot of Green Bay fans walking by were telling me I was crazy. Eric, do you think Jordan Love looked good in this game? Because I think I was pretty dead on with that one.
No, we stifled them pretty well. And listen, I called it before the game. I said I don't expect to win this game, but that's why you play football, because you just never know any given Sunday, and that's what we saw today. But we saw a domination on behalf of the defense.
We did see a domination. And I'm going to just keep patting myself on a back for a second and talk about how I said Quinshon Judkins was going to rush for more than 15 attempts and look amazing. He was our only scoring offensive Cleveland Brown today, arguably put the team on his back, dare I say, a little Nick Chubb style, to get us in scoring position multiple times in that fourth quarter when the Browns didn't have a lead until there was about 5 minutes left. Not even a lead. They didn't lead the game at all. Didn't
They
have a
didn't.
score until about 5 minutes left in this game.
Yeah, they had what, 221 yards of total offense, I think,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yep.
But Judkins had like 94 yards on 18 carries. He was the bright spot. And we talked about it at the beginning or at tailgate yesterday, how in order to win this game, they needed to establish the run game and they needed Judkins to be Judkins. And he put the team on his back in the fourth quarter. Because if not for him, we don't win this game. Shout out to the O line. They got it done. That patched up O line. But the sore spot, and I have to bring it up, is one Joe Flacco. I'm not
Oh, it is.
sure what we do here.
I'm screaming from the rooftops. It's time to bench him. I think it's time to turn the page on this and look to one of the rookies, purely out of the simple fact that they're not going to be what we call a statue in the pocket like Joe Flacco is. They'll be able to scramble out, make some moves if the offensive line breaks down like that, which we've seen, and make some things out of nothing. I'm not talking Lamar Jackson level scrambling. I'm talking basic NFL level scrambling. I'm talking Baker Mayfield level scrambling at this point is all we need.
Well,
Um,
Baker's got some wheels, but, how about that play where he missed the guy wide open across the middle? Like, we'll break down the film, but he's not himself. I'm sorry. The game has passed him by. It's time to hang it up.
he's a great veteran presence in the locker room. I think in a pinch, say, we go into next week, we start Dylan Gabriel, Gabriel gets hurt or something, putting him back in makes total sense. But I think the time has come to see what's going on with these rookies, more so for the betterment of the team, which is not what I thought we would say talking about the rookies. But this offense is so abysmal that if they even played partially complementary football to this defense, like we saw on Sunday, they are going to win football games. That's how good this defense is. And all we need is a guy that can just do a little bit more than what Joe Flacco's doing.
Yeah, I think his, QBR was like 55, 56, something like that.
I mean, it was rough. He was 21 for 36, 142 yards, and that pick, of course, at the half. Don't hate that pick that much. I think you're pulling at straws because you're just trying to throw downfield at the end of the half. But
But
regardless,
he couldn't
you
even
need
get the damn ball downfield. That's the thing. Like, that play
right.
was atrocious. Um, Listen, I haven't been a Joe Flacco hater, um, but it's time. If I have one criticism, and I have way more than one with Coach Stefanski, it's that he sticks with his guys way too long. He is that bad gambler. Once again, we talk about the Denny's menu, which wasn't even him as a coach, but it's gonna work this time. Well, it's not working right now.
It's not working right now indeed, and I think they know this at the heart of it. This is something that came out earlier. We talked about it briefly on the Muni show. We had so many people coming up and talking to us that we would talk football for a couple minutes and then move on. Brad Stanbrook, who was his for all intents and purposes a credible reporter on the Cleveland Browns, earlier this week Kevin Stefanski and offensive coordinator Tommy Rees spent much of Monday in meetings weighing on whether to hand the job to Browns rookie Dylan Gabriel, per league sources. So I think it's on their minds. I know Stefanski after the game doubled down and say Flacco will start this week against Detroit. But I thought this was really interesting, and with it being so close to game time coming out, it kind of got swept under the rug.
Yeah, I didn't see that, and it's interesting, but he already said that Flacco's gonna be the week 4 starter.
I know.
So, why say th it just doesn't make a lot of sense. First of all, I don't know why you come out and say that unless you're trying to keep stability in the locker room. At what point, though, does Joe lose the locker room? He's a veteran presence, and I think he's well liked, but if your defense is going out there and busting their butts for you, and for all intents and purposes here, getting the win, defense and Quinshon, at what point does Joe lose the locker room?
It could come sooner than soon. I mean, you can't put all of the blame of what's happening with the Cleveland Browns offense on Joe Flacco.
No.
But he is a key part to that. Something else that I wanted to say, since we're kind of talking about Stefanski and our gripes with him right now, is what's up with all of a sudden all the quarterbacks that play in his offensive system being so timid about passing the ball. And what I mean by this is I feel like they do so much to try to avoid the interception that it makes them play lackluster at quarterback. Do you get what I'm saying?
Is that what's happening?
I would
Um,
think so. I mean, we've seen it now, not just with obviously Joe Flacco this year. I'm not defending it because Deshaun Watson looked horrible last year, but Deshaun played very timid last season. Same thing happened with DTR. You could blame DTRs on him being a younger quarterback and trying to claim his stake in the NFL, but we've seen multiple examples of this now.
but I don't think I think again it partly comes down to our receivers, and again when we break down the all 22, I think we'll have a better idea, but
Yeah.
at least against Baltimore, there wasn't a lot of separation. I mean, there wasn't a lot of places Joe could go with the ball. And what happens is knowing that line is gonna break down and he doesn't have a ton of time, I think they get timid in the sense that, yeah, they don't wanna turn the ball over, but nothing's open either, and then they get happy feet and they get nervous, etcetera, and you see that sometimes with Flacco, even when a guy's open. We saw that with Deshaun, and it makes me wonder, were all the faults on Deshaun?
It
Maybe
does
not.
make you it makes you think a little bit, and, they haven't completely slammed the door in terms of the media talking about, maybe potentially Deshaun playing games this year only because
Door
of
shut.
Hey, they haven't done it. Mary Kay has talked about it to an extent. Some of the other beat reporters and some of the other talk shows have not shut it down. So it scares me. I'm hoping the door is all the way slammed and we can move on. But
I wanna say that the door is shut and Hodor is in front of it if you're a Game of Thrones fan, so, like, no, let's move on from that talk.
oh, I would love to. The other thing I was going to say too, real quick, we've given some gripes, we've given some qualms when it comes to Kevin Stefanski, the operations, and all of that. But I got to give credit where credit's due. At the end of the game, I'm pulling up the clip right now. At the end of the game, this is the 2 second drill, basically, where Flacco gets the
Mm.
completion over to the middle, and then the ability for this Browns offense to get on the ball and spike it, there's so much credit that needs to go on to that center for his job there because he placed it spotted perfectly. So all the ref had to do was tap the ball, run out, we snap it, we get the spike.
Hold on, though, let's jump into this a little bit more because, first of all, were you not nervous as hell watching that play unfold?
Oh, of course, you would be nervous no matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it's the Browns, the Ravens, the Packers, the Bengals, the Steelers, the Saints, you name
Okay,
it, you should
we
be
don't need to
nervous.
name all 32, but
I could. Do you want me to?
no, I don't. My point is, though, that yes, while that worked out and it was executed flawlessly, 2 seconds, bro. I mean, if the ref wasn't there, the ref didn't get that touch in, that could have gone a whole different way.
That yeah, it could have, but you operated that whole series between the catch to Njoku and getting to the line perfectly that you had it happen. There's credit that needs to be given there, even if it stresses you out a little bit. High pressure situations are going to happen, especially in the National Football League.
Listen, it worked out, but had it not, we would be saying the exact opposite, how dumb Stefanski was to call a play over the middle there at the end. So, I'll take it because it worked out, but, I was certainly nervous in the moment.
We're going to break down the film later this week, and I'm really curious to see what the route concepts look like in terms of if maybe it was just Njoku was the only one open, or if there was like maybe some posts and out routes going towards the sideline to stop the clock, get us closer, and call it. But again, they were just covered. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there probably were, but I think the call there is to go across the middle. Typically in situations like that, Green Bay, I'm surprised that first pass, we are able to get to the sideline and out of bounds because typically you play on that outside and shut down the sidelines. So I think the whole time the call there was to Njoku to go across the middle, honestly.
And that might be something that we will never know because we obviously don't have like what the read key is and all of that for that play specifically. But again, I'm just curious as to what the route concepts themselves look like to know maybe if it was supposed to go to Njoku or if there were options to get it, out of bounds.
Yeah, I'm sure if like you know, it was wide open, you make that throw to the sideline, but I don't know, it just felt like they had that dialed up across the middle the whole time. And credit where credit's due. I mean, like you said, you should give credit. Stefanski had the balls to call that in that moment, and it worked out. So that was the right call, clearly.
It was indeed. We won that football game, literally never leading the whole game. The ESPN chart of the percentages has been floating around Twitter. Even the Browns
Browns, yeah.
themselves have tweeted it, and it's awesome. It is a feel good victory Monday, despite all the flaws that happened in this game. This offense needs to be better, 110%. We have still yet to score 20 points in a game in like 9 games. Broke the longest losing streak in the NFL, though, with this win against the Green Bay Packers. And I got to give credit to one more person. Miles Garrett, Joe Thomas, at Flash Garrett is the most impactful non-quarterback in the history of football. And
The
Eric,
history.
Eric, if you disagree, you can, but he has been electric this year.
I'll say this, history of football's tough, but guys like Lawrence Taylor walked so that Miles could run. I'm not completely disagreeing with that take, but when you talk like Lawrence Taylor, Ray Lewis, I don't know. He's up there though. Miles is up there. I'll say that for sure.
For sure, for sure.
By the
And
way, credit where it's due too. We didn't talk about the blocked field goal. That
yeah,
was huge.
that was absolutely huge. It played during the highlights, and the blocked field goal was the turning point of this game. You could say maybe Brandon McManus misses it and we get a shot anyway, but Bubba Ventrone, I have been super critical of. We
Mhm.
talked about that in the Muni lot. I was calling for his job. He's earned a couple weeks in my book, brother, because you schemed something up perfect there where there was a block. I know it goes on the players more so than it does the special teams coordinator. But when you have a good play during the special teams unit, I'm not talking about kicks because that's not on Bubba. But when you have something like that happen, got to give credit where credit's due. Shout out the special teams unit. Shout out our special teams coach.
Yeah, for sure. And around the league, I mean, there were a lot of block kicks that led to interesting endings to football games. At least 3 different games
There was
that I
3
saw,
in
which
that
was
3 in that 1
yeah,
PM slot. It was crazy. It was
pretty
absolutely crazy.
crazy. Um, but to go, I mean, this is the life of a Browns fan because we're not winning. This sucks. To holy shit, we have a chance to actually pulling it off. The level and wave of emotions was incredible yesterday.
Yeah, it was, and, something I wanna mention too, the graphic came up for a flag on the P or not the PAT, but the field goal.
Right.
We were over at Collision Bend watching the game yesterday, and everybody that was there was like, "Ah," and then went silent as soon as the yellow marker came up, like, "Oh, hell, what did we do? What happened?" And then they said it was on Green Bay, and everybody went electric. It was an awesome time.
Yeah,
One
I didn't
last
see
thing.
them jump off sides, but, the person I was watching it with did, so I was instantly relieved, but that's funny, because I had the
I
same gut feeling initially.
I didn't see them jump off sides either. I saw obviously after the fact when they talked about it. But one last person I want to shout out real quick too, really. Andrew Barry. He has had his ups and he has had his downs as the GM of the Cleveland Browns. People critique his drafting, people critique a bunch of different things about him, right?
Mhm.
This draft class, man, it feels like something special. Carson Schlesinger, I think, could legit be an all pro Pro Bowl linebacker this year. Quinshon Judkins, the 94 yards, the touchdown, putting the team on his back. He's only practiced for a week and a half in the NFL. OTAs and rookie minicamp be damned. He's only practiced real football for a week and a half in the NFL and almost rushed for 100 on 18 carries yesterday. Mason Graham, who was critiqued by the fan base, by media, because he's a defensive tackle drafted high, 43% pass rush win rate. Jesus, I would love to be able to talk against the Packers. You know what the average is for a defensive tackle, Eric?
20 something?
9%.
9? Okay,
He
fair.
was 43% on pass rush win
That's a
rate.
great stat, wow.
He is awesome. And then, of course, you just gotta give credit everywhere. Harold Fallon was a great safety ball yet again. You just gotta feel good about this. You gotta feel really good about this draft. The only two players we don't feel good about right now are the two rookies that haven't played at quarterback.
Right. And, shout out to the tight ends, like you mentioned, because we said before the game that they needed better involvement in this game. And they both had it, frankly. And Joku had some key catches there, so shout out to both of them. From a standpoint of what we talked about, every key that we touched on kind of came to fruition. The biggest lack there being the passing game and, the run game opening up the passing game. But in that final drive, it somewhat did still. So shout out to literally the entire team. We have our faults for sure, but the thing that bothers me the most is that I truly believe we have a Super Bowl caliber defense.
It's
And
literally top 3 defense, bottom 3 offense. It's the weirdest roster construction I think I've ever seen in the NFL.
yeah, it's such a bummer to think, if we had insert X offense here, if we had the Ravens offense paired with our defense, I'd probably say we win the Super Bowl. Like I'd
Yeah.
call it right now.
I don't even
but
think you need
unfortunately
the
we don't.
Ravens. I don't even think you need the Ravens. You could go more middle of the pack. Imagine with how Daniel Jones, for example, is playing with Indy right now. Imagine having Indy's offense. Just that. Pittman, Jonathan Taylor, Daniel Jones. The ceiling is the roof. Michael Jordan said it at best. Like
The ceiling is the roof. I wanna talk about our parlays real quick,
yeah,
uh, because we each had parlays and, yours hasn't run yet, so I guess we can't talk about yours.
yeah.
But mine has, and the Texans let me down.
They let you down two ways too, because they were playing, of course, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we want them to lose, lose, and lose some more for draft capital's sake. And
My
they are
parlay
two and
was
one right now.
Texans money line, Chiefs with the points, and Quinshon Judkins touchdown. $10 would have won excuse me, $10 would have won right around 146, and unfortunately, the Texans were the only leg of that that did not get it done for me.
Yeah, that is a tough one, but hopefully mine comes through today and I can be declared the front runner in terms of our parlay bets. Make sure you check out our Friday episodes. You'll hear some more about that as well. Eric, I want to ask you one last question. Dylan Gabriel, do we see him this week?
That's a tough question. Honestly, it depends on the game and what's happening in the game. If it's a tight game, no. If it's a blowout, yes. So it's completely dependent on what's happening.
Even with the Brad Steinbrück report about them talking about it during Monday meetings, you don't think that there may be a chance that, despite Kevin Stefanski saying whatever at the press conference yesterday, I don't take anything he says to the media as gospel because he doesn't care what he says to the media because he doesn't owe them anything. That's his mindset. He doesn't owe giving the insider trading.
Yeah, but
So
you're a little off here. Kevin Stefanski doesn't believes that he doesn't owe the media anything, meaning he doesn't have to say anything he doesn't want to. But typically when he says something, it's locked in. If he says that, Joe Flacco is gonna start, typically he will keep that and keep his word there. That's not to say that things can't change. I mean, anything can happen, but I would expect to see Flacco under center to start that game next week.
I think odds are it will be Flacco to start the game, but I think we are edging oh so closer, so much closer to the starting of Dylan Gabriel. I was going to say one of the rookies, but it will be Dylan Gabriel before Shador Sanders. And I think that's going to happen sooner than soon at this point. I forget where I heard it, but Mary Kay Cabot basically said Joe Flacco needs to have a turnover free game in Green Bay and a turnover free game with the Lions for him to continue having the job. Well, he's 0 for 1 right now, and his trends are not trending in the direction that would be favorable for him. So we will see.
Yeah, it's interesting too because now I don't know how to think of this game. The Packers dismantled Detroit when they played them, and now we head into Detroit. It's at Ford Field. Do I still feel good about us? No, but this defense, I just you don't know. So I'm not sure what to expect at this point.
Neither am I, man. But I'm just happy that we get to celebrate a victory Monday. I was worried it was going to be into October. The Cavs are potentially winning games before the Browns. And it is a beautiful Monday, September 22nd morning. And happy victory Monday, brother.
Happy Victory Monday, indeed. A little bittersweet because I think we should be 2-1, but that's okay. We'll take our
It
victories where we can.
It will indeed. And they being the viewers, can take their victories as well. If they enter our giveaway, we are giving away a Cleveland Browns jersey of your choice. You basically got the rest of the week to enter, subscribe, leave a comment, and you will be entered to win a Browns player jersey of your choice. So why don't you try to win and hang out with us a little bit more at the office as well?
Do that indeed. All right. The debate never ends, but the show does for now. We'll see you next time.